Yes. Oh,
Bam, now we live. Now we live.
oh
See,
now
I messed up. See already. All
oh,
right,
you're all
let me
good.
start again. I'm Chris LeBron of the Off the Ball podcast, and I got some of the best podcasters with me today, and I'm really excited about doing this. This is my first time doing this live platform, so I'm really excited. So on that note, Jelani, you go first. Tell me about yourself and your podcast.
Cool, yeah. Yep, Jelani Brown, from the What the Game Means to Me podcast. Pretty new. Um, yeah, man, I'm pretty excited. I got to actually have Chris on my show a few weeks ago. Got to talk about the climate of the country right now. Also the NBA return, which I know we'll talk about today. And a few other topics. So just glad to be here. Glad to be able to collaborate with these guys, and looking forward to the show.
Yep. Mo.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's your boy Mo from the Up in Flames Sports Podcast. Hey, salute to my guy Chris Sabron. Salute to my guy Rob off the Football and Chill Podcast, man. You link the.
I think we lost him. Oh, we lost you for a second, bro. We lost you for a second, Mo.
So Rob, you know what I'm saying. I love the fact that you really put me on to this podcast game. Jelani, you know what I'm saying. It's our first time working. Hopefully, we
Yeah,
have future endeavors working. You know what I'm saying.
definitely.
I love working with new people and everything last night. But yeah, Up in Flames. Keep the dream alive, baby. During the Black Lives Matter, you
Yes,
know what I'm
sir.
saying, protests and everything like that. We want to keep the dream alive. Keep with the guys before we got coming. So yes, sir. This gonna be a good show today.
Yep. Cruz.
What's up? I'm Robert. Like Mo said, I started this probably just under a year ago. Mo was actually my first guest, and I'm so glad. I'm so happy to see him doing his thing too with his podcast. Jelani, nice to meet you. Look forward to working with you sometime
Of course.
in the near future, definitely. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh,
Yeah,
Mo,
man.
real quick, you crazy? That bottom roster is way better.
Hey man, we might get into that later, man. I'm gonna let Chris do his thing, man.
Yeah, we're gonna have a nice fun discussion today. But I got you guys here because I want to talk to you about a lot of things. But we just got some big breaking news. So Cam Newton has signed with a team. He is signed with the New England Patriots. And it's a team that I think a lot of people thought he would go to, once he got released. And it took a while, he's trying to figure out where he wants to go. Obviously with everything going on with COVID, not be able to, go to training facilities and meet with teams. It's kind of difficult. But the New England Patriots picked him up. So what's you guys' initial thought? Because, Twitter's going crazy. Everyone's going crazy about this news. And so what's your thoughts about this, guys?
My latest episode that I just put up a few days ago is done. I might as well just delete it at this point. I did a pre-camp AFC predictions, and I predicted them finishing third in the East, in the AFC East. But yeah, they're gonna win the division. I think so now. I think Belichick is a mastermind head coach. He's gonna learn how to use Cam Newton the best way possible. He's gonna be able to keep him healthy, and he's gonna thrive in that system. And yeah, Patriots are winning the division.
Patriots? Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It's tough. Like you said earlier, from the jump, I thought that's the move that was going to be made. My stepdad's actually a Patriots fan, so we talk back and forth about it all the time. So, Robert said, I think it's a pretty good fit. I know and see that Belichick kind of sees the direction of the quarterbacks in the league and figured to get somebody of the same style as I guess Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes that could use his feet, but also got a good arm as well. So. Only thing I don't know. I mean, I guess I was pretty much gonna open up to you guys, thinking like, you think is he day one starter, or still might go with Stidham for a game or two?
Day one starter.
Yeah, he's day one, bro.
Day one?
I think he's day one. I don't
Is
think
he-
Stidham's a dude, man. I don't think he's.
No,
I never thought he was a dude either.
I
but,
don't think he's a dude. But it's also we don't know if Cam is going to be
Is he?
Cam.
Yeah, that's
Are
what I
you
was
gonna-
gonna say.
are we
That's
gonna-
what I'm saying.
Are they expecting 2015 Cam,
Mhm.
or we might get some of last year's Cam, which he looked he didn't look even like an
Fully healthy,
average
yeah.
quarterback. Like he looked like a below average quarterback. So that's going to be a big question. Which Cam are we getting? I don't think we're going to get anything close to 2015 Cam. But if you get still an above average Cam, that's still solid. That's still better than a lot of guys in the league.
Exactly. Exactly.
What do you
Hey,
think, Mo?
I love y'all guys' take on Cam, and I love the fact that it low key. I'm not gonna put words in y'all mouth, but it sounds like y'all doubting Cam
Nah, it's
off the
not
simple
doubting it.
fact.
It's just the tape, man.
Yeah, it's just
You
just
right.
When
You right.
watch
Hey,
last year's tape. He did not look like Cam. Mo, you gotta know, he did not look like Cam at all.
Hey, 100%. But my thing with Cam is Cam's been injured, and I'm not banking on the 2015 Cam to be the guy. That's not what I'm banking on. I'm not
No, of course.
expecting MVP Cam. And the only thing I don't like about him going to the Patriots is the setup of the narrative with Cam Newton that he's washed and he's done. Part of me wanted Cam in Dallas, and I always got to talk about my Cowboys, but part of me wanted Cam in
We
Dallas,
gotta talk
but
about the Cowboys.
yeah, for a cheaper price than what we was willing to pay Dak Prescott. That was a big part of how I felt about Cam. Is I'd rather take Cam at a lower price while he's cheap now for a year, a 1-year rental, than pay Dak the $31 million that we was gonna pay him on the franchise tag. I don't think Cam is done. You put Cam in the right system with the right weapons, and Cam might look maybe not 2015 Super Bowl MVP, or whatever, not Super Bowl MVP, but MVP Cam that reached the Super Bowl and lost that game. He might not look at that, but I think Cam still has some gas in the tank. He's 31 years old, so he's not an old quarterback. We still hold hope in Tom Brady, who's 42. We still hold hope in Drew Brees, who's 41. So I don't want to age to play a factor in Cam Newton. You put the right pieces around him, he's a guy that's going to thrive no matter where he goes. And we're judging him off the last couple of years, but the last couple of years have been a rush on him, rushing back from an injury to save the Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
And I don't like that because everybody is sitting here judging, oh, Cam is done, Cam is roasted. I don't feel that way for the simple fact Cam has been playing injured. Cam came back early off a foot injury. Cam comes back. He sits back out after a couple weeks because they realize, oh, he's not 100% healthy. I think right now with all the COVID and everything, he's had time to get healthy. And I think right now at this time, Cam Newton is going to come back healthy. This year is going to be the year where we judge if Cam Newton still has it or he's washed up. I think Cam Newton still has it. You're giving him Bill Belichick. You're giving him a steady system. It may not be the system that fits him best, but you're giving him a steady system. Short throws. We don't need to see Cam with inaccurate deep ball passes. It's going to be short throws, a lot of checkdowns, and that's what we're going to get from Cam Newton. And I also would imagine there's still other weapons out there available to Cam Newton as far as receivers and all these other weapons to make for a great team.
Bryant.
So most definitely, you got Des Bryant. Who knows? Maybe I doubt it, but maybe they'll dip back into the Antonio Brown thing. Maybe they'll dip back into Josh Gordon off the simple fact of them having Cam Newton. You got to get some weapons around them. Them receivers that Tom Brady had last year is the sole point in why we're saying Tom Brady then dipped as far as talent goes. Because look at who he was throwing to. He can't throw to a bunch of unnamed guys. The only worst receiving core in the league was Philly. After everybody, Aguilar, Jeffrey, that was the only receiving core worse than what the Patriots had. So I think Cam Newton's going to be successful. I think Cam Newton's going to fit the system. And I think he's also going to change the narrative of black quarterbacks cannot fit a complicated system. Because everybody knows when they get to New England, it's a very complicated system. And if a guy like Cam Newton is able to fit that system, it's going to change the narrative of black quarterbacks don't have the mind to apprehend and be able to comprehend what goes on in that system. So I'm all for Cam Newton going to the Patriots. As much as I don't want to see the Patriots reign anymore, if it's for Cam Newton, I'll sit back, watch, and I pray for nothing but success.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to, like I said, man, obviously we know the system in New England is different, but I wonder, with Brady gone, how much of the system are they actually going to change, with Cam coming in? Because that's a different quarterback from Tom, because, Cam can move, even though he's been hurt, he can still move. You know,
Yes, sir.
and what we've seen from what he's put out, man, he looks good, man. He looks good. So it's going to be interesting to see how they use him now, knowing that he can move. He can move in the pocket more, and he could do a lot more stuff than what Tom can do. With Tom, they like to do the short passes, those bubble screens, and all that. Since they didn't have a strong running game, that's kind of their running game. It's going to be interesting to see how McDaniels incorporates Cam into this system and see how he uses him because and then this is good for like Edelman and stuff. I think a lot of people were down on Edelman once Brady left. I think Edelman gets his stock back up and can get some rejuvenate and still be a one of the best receivers in football. So I'm interested to see I love Cam Newton. I'm always rooting for him. Like I said, man, I didn't like how he looked last year, but I know injuries and all that. But I hope he's 100% because he's been dinged up for a little bit. But this is definitely this is. I thought this either New England or Washington would be the fits. Go once he got released. I thought those are the two best fits. Obviously with the connection with with Washington and everything. So. But New England, man, it's going to be interesting to see how Belichick, and McDaniels uses him because if he's healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks in football, no doubt. So
go ahead, Rob. Go ahead,
yeah.
Rob. Go ahead, man, because you was rocking with me. Go ahead, man.
People forget. I don't know whether they choose to forget or because it was so long ago. All the way back in 2018, much simpler times. Cam Newton had the Panthers sitting at 6-2 before he got hurt. I don't remember if it was the game against Tampa Bay or the game after that against Pittsburgh when he hurt his throwing shoulder. I think it was he took a hit by TJ Watt and messed up his shoulder, and he was not the same after that. But Cam being the competitor that he is, he kept trying to play. He just tried to push through. It was the year that the All or Nothing was with him. That was the year they got hurt. He was an MVP candidate. He was in the talks for MVP that season. Talking about that was probably the best. He was potentially playing better ball that year than he was in 2015 when they went to the Super Bowl. People forget about that. He's not too old. He's not washed up. He doesn't suck. He was just hurt because he had that shoulder injury. Then he had, I think, the knee and the ankle injury last season. He wasn't the same player. And I guarantee you, if COVID didn't happen, he would have been signed the day he got released, if not the day after. Doctors would have gotten their hands on him. They would have seen he was fine. Or maybe they would have seen, okay, you're not completely healthy, but let's get you there. We can get you there. And they would have signed him instantly. And the Patriots probably would have been that team either way, regardless of COVID happened or not. And Cam Newton, he's going to win that division. It's theirs again.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
Whoa! You think they're taking the division?
Oh, hands down.
I love it. I love it. As much as I don't love it, I love it. The Cam Newton love we get in Jelani.
I just wanted to be on the record. Like I guess I posed that question only because he said like the health concerns. Like I know he's been saying he's 100% back. I've been seeing the videos. I'm Cam guy all the way. He's from my home state. Went to Westlake High School. Georgia boy. I'm rocking with every African American QB that's in the game, especially him. He definitely deserves a second chance. So I was really just posing it just because, like pretty much everything Mo, everything you were saying, agree with. Rob, everything you said, I agree with. And pretty much I think my stepdad, including, definitely happy that he's going to be quarterbacking them, to another division title. I don't know about Super Bowl, but definitely another division title. I don't see pretty much. I mean, Miami, they're a piece of work. They're probably 2-3 years away. Bills, I don't honestly, I just don't see them having the same dominant type season they had last year. And
I think it's the Bills, right? If any team's going to compete,
it's the only one that's the only one to compete. That's the only ones to compete.
Don't sleep on Miami.
You know what's crazy?
I'm not sleep, but like I said, just another year or two.
I think Miami's a year away before they're legit. Like
I know what's
Patrick is a good transition quarterback. I think he'll go 3-3 in the first 6 games, and then 2 will be ready, and they'll throw 2 in.
Y'all sleep on the Jets just in that division. Listen to me now. Listen to me now. Because I fully understand.
I do
Look,
not see
Jamal
what's going on
Adams.
with them.
Look, I know. Listen to me now.
He might be a cowboy.
Listen to me now. The last 8 games they finished 6-2. Sam Darnold started off the season with mono. He didn't play the first couple games of the season. We expected semi good things from the Jets. We didn't expect playoffs, and we didn't necessarily expect. Obviously, we didn't expect Super Bowl, but we expected to see a solid Jets team. They went and got Le'Veon. They got C.J. Mosley at linebacker. He was injured. Sam Darnold in another year injured. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of injuries that the Jets were dealing with, and if Sam Darnold takes that step, I understand they got rid of Robbie Anderson, so there's some questions at some of the weapons they have. But if Sam Darnold takes that next step, you know what I'm saying, in his 3rd year, bro, there's gonna be a lot of talk of what we think about what the Jets can do. Maybe they don't finish first, but they're gonna be a tough team. It's not a team the Patriots with a new quarterback and a new system are just gonna want to face. The Jets have talent, and they may end up getting rid of Jamal Adams. And we may be sitting here saying their defense has nothing because they got rid of Jamal Adams. But let's hypothetically say they do what was smart and they pay Jamal Adams. Well, they have a nice team. They have a team worth talking about. They invested in their O-line. They have Le'Veon Bell. There's questions at the coaching position, but when you have talent, sometimes talent can overshadow coaching, and on the vice versa. And
not this coach.
You right, and that's what I was going to say.
Right.
On the vice versa,
he's different.
Sometimes
that's a lie, bro.
But sometimes coaching can overshadow talent. But if Sam Darnold pops this year, because you know it's crazy. There's one guy they talking about popping this year, and it's Drew Lock. Why can Sam Darnold? He went through the sophomore slump, and he went through his rookie year. Why can Sam Darnold not pop in his 3rd year? If he pops and makes some shake of why they drafted him when they drafted him, and they think Sam Darnold's going to be that guy, the Jets could end up being a competitive team. I'm not saying they win the division, but what I'm saying is y'all say the Dolphins are 2-3 years away. I think they could win right now. The division is wide open. I think the Bills could repeat a dominance and finish 10-6 or 11-5 this year right now. So I wouldn't just hand it to the Patriots. I understand where Rob coming from, and I kind of agree as far as them getting Cam Newton make them a lot better. But the Bills could easily finish 10-6, 11-5. The Jets could easily finish 9-7, 10-6 and make that division very shaken up. And the Dolphins could be a lot better. You talking about the progression of them being this year, and 7, 8, 9 wins will make them better this year than they were last year. But I think the Dolphins could very well pop also. Like Rob said, Rob made a solid point. Fitzpatrick, 3-3. Tua comes in ready to start. Tua becomes the star in his rookie year and has a Daniel Jones type of year. We talking about the Dolphins finish 10-6, so I can't just give it to the Patriots, but I fully agree with Rob. We can't count the Dolphins out. All the talent they added, we can't just go ahead and give it to Belichick and Cam when we don't know if Belichick and Cam going to fit. And we know Fitzpatrick going to give us a solid first 5 to 6 games. And if Tua comes in and can take over, Rob made the best point. Miami has the best argument to win that division. And if Buffalo takes a step back, Miami added all that talent, and they also added Tua. I would rock with Miami possibly winning that division.
I just want to counter your point about the Jets going 6-2. You're ending the season on that 6-2 run. Look at who they beat. They beat the Giants, the Redskins, the Raiders. They lost to the Bengals. They beat Miami, beat Pittsburgh, and then Buffalo the last game of the season. So it's not like they ran through a gauntlet of playoff teams. Yeah. The Bills, I think they already had their playoff clinched by week 17.
They were hit, so they didn't.
Pittsburgh was rocking with Duck Hodges at that point. I mean, you're acting like they just ran through the entire top of the conference. No, they didn't.
No, but a team with a lot of injuries finished.
They did beat your Cowboys, though.
They did, and look, that you know what's crazy, because you know me, Rob, you know me, Chris, Delani, you gonna get to know me. You know I always refer to my.
He's a Cowboys fan. If you haven't,
But I always refer to my Cowboys. The only thing with that, Rob, I'm glad you brought that up. They surely did. Sam Darnold's first game, when Sam Darnold first came back, they played the Cowboys. There was a high hope in not only Cowboys Nation, but there was talk at the first time when the Jets came back that, the Cowboys are looking like they could be a potential Super Bowl contender. That's it. The Jets ended that. The minute the Jets beat us, everybody went back. The Cowboys ain't played nobody. They ain't beat nobody. They're the typical Cowboys that go in every year with all this talent, and they don't win big games. And I agree with that. I was like, we can't beat the Jets. How you gonna call us Super Bowl contenders? I don't care how much talent we have on our roster. This Sam Darnold first game back from mono, he probably not even 100%. They came, you know what I'm saying? We went to New York and they took over that game. No quarterback in his first game back from an injury, an illness, should be taking over a game the way he did. But that's my point, is even coming into this season with all this talent Dallas has, I'm not gonna say everybody has Dallas as a Super Bowl contender, but they definitely have us as a playoff team. And they definitely have us making a possibly deep run. They have us measure with Seattle and New Orleans and all these other teams. Maybe not San Francisco, because it seemed like San Francisco that separated themselves as far as just like Kansas City and Baltimore did from the AFC. San Francisco might have separated themselves from the NFC. But they have us in that same conversation with New Orleans and Seattle and all the Minnesota and all these other teams that are competing in the NFC. So what I'm saying is, if New York can beat teams like that, I get it. They didn't go through a gauntlet of a schedule, but if you really want to look at schedules, how many tough teams outside of the NFC are there really to play? The NFC is the strength. The AFC is very weak. And like you said, you had Duck Hodges, and they went back to Mason Rudolph till he got bopped on his head. So I do understand that. Buffalo, you know what I'm saying? Buffalo had playoffs in lock. So I do understand that. But to say that New York might not take that next step, if they finish 6-2, teams roll into the next season off of momentum what they had last season, and they improve. They address their offensive line. That was their biggest need. Now, addressing their biggest need, they have Jamal Adams, who is a question because he's now a concern. He's now a distraction. But if they keep Jamal Adams, which if they're smart, they'll pay Jamal Adams, that Jets team could be very competitive and could do a little bit better than expectations. Because I would imagine everybody's expectations for the Jets is 7-9 and 8-8. But if Sam Darnold makes that next jump in his third year, and Adam Gase shows that he's a halfway decent coach, and that defense rolls with all that,
that's the problem. Nobody likes
exactly.
Yeah.
Adam Gase is garbage.
That's my biggest thing with them. That's my biggest thing with them. It's not Darnold,
he is.
But they don't. If you don't respect them, you ain't gonna. They're not gonna be all there. They want him out. Yeah. He did what he did last year. He went 6-2, and regardless of who they played, but it's impressive that he went 6-2 with the team, especially without Darnold. But it's fact that they don't respect him, and this is from when he got hired. They're like, we hired Adam Gase, and he's supposed to this QB whisperer. I mean, he coached Peyton Manning. Does Peyton Manning really need someone to?
I could be a QB whisperer if I was coaching Peyton Manning.
And Peyton Manning is on that's Peyton Manning. Adam Gase had nothing to do with Peyton Manning, winning, being great. Like, he was great regardless of Adam Gase. So all this, QB stuff and Tannehill. Look at Tannehill. Tannehill was okay with him, and he leaves. Tannehill leaves Gase, and he ends up being a Pro Bowl quarterback that almost gets to a Super Bowl with Tennessee, and has got a new fat contract. So this Gase quarterback whisper stuff is garbage. And I feel bad for Darnold because they haven't given nothing to work with. You see Allen go get Stephon Diggs, and they're trying to get him weapons. You see all these quarterbacks getting weapons. Daniel Jones got weapons. All these quarterbacks are getting weapons. Dane Haskins got weapons, and you see Darnold. He's got washed up. Maybe a washed up Le'Veon Bell who's averaging 3-point-nothing a carry. He's got, his weapons. His best receiver, is
Jamison Crowder.
He's a solid receiver. Jameson, solid.
Yeah,
but
Jameson is a solid.
Say it like this: solid.
Solid.
He's solid.
One. They got the rookie from Baylor, but they've had a track record of drafting horrible wide receivers, especially in the second round. That's been a bust for them.
I understand with the Jets. I get what you're saying about they've done a bad job, or in our eyes, a bad job of putting things around Sam Darnold. But that Jets team was so broken when Adam Gase got there. There were so many pieces they needed on the defensive side and the offensive side. They went and got Le'Veon Bell, like you said. They went and signed C.J. Mosley. He was hurt most of the season. But it's tough to add a top-notch receiver or add a guy that's going to give me a lot of yards when I got an offensive line problem. As a quarterback, your first priority is to protect him. Your quarterback is the most expensive guy on your team, especially when he's the quarterback of your future. So what the Jets do in the draft, they went and addressed the offensive line issue. To me, that means they said, we believe in Sam Darnold. We think Sam Darnold is going to take that next step, and we have to invest in him. They don't have to pay him right now. He's coming up on his third year. Now, after this year, he can start his contract negotiations if he's not happy and he feel like he outplayed his contract. I don't think he'll feel like that after his third year. But instead, going into his third year, they said, Sam Darnold is our investment. Sam Darnold is our future. What's more important, a wide receiver that can make big-time yards? None of that is relevant if Sam Darnold can't be protected. So what they do? They went and invested in their investment by going to draft offensive line. So they believe in Sam Darnold. They think Sam Darnold will take that third-year pop. They think he'll pop the same way a lot of us, I don't know about y'all, but there's a lot of people out there thinking Drew Lock will take that pop in his second year, which is a tough sell.
Yeah, but look at how they do with Drew Lock. They gave him weapons. They've invested.
But they gave him weapons. But guess what? They didn't invest in they horrible offensive line that they had. So yes, he has weapons, but he also is not going to be protected. You can give me KJ Hamler, you can give me Jerry Jeudy, you can give me Cortland Sutton, you can give me Noah Fant. But if I ain't got a guy that's going to protect me from getting them the ball, then none of it matters. Their offensive line is mediocre at best. I hope guys pop like Drew Lock. But also, I want to see Sam Darnold succeed because they showed they're investing in their investment. Your quarterback is your investment. When you take a quarterback in the top 10, that's your guy of the future. When you take him that early, you're taking him as your guy of the future. And they're simply showing that they're invested in Sam Darnold. And I think if Sam Darnold takes that pop, if a quarterback pops and takes that next step, then everything else falls into place. If Sam Darnold takes that next step, there might not be no stopping the Jets as far as taking that next step and being 10-6, 11-5, just because their quarterback is so good. So that's my biggest thing with the Jets is I'm more confident in Sam Darnold taking that pop as a third-year quarterback than worrying about Adam Gase. They invested in the offensive line. They have decent enough weapons to where, like I said, if Sam Darnold takes that next jump improvement, then none of that matters. If he's protected, he'll get the ball to Jamison Crowder. Jamison Crowder gonna get open. You know what I'm saying?
So, he's not a game breaker. You still need game breakers, bro. You still need guys that could, the yak, that can get that yak. I believe in Darnold. I love Sam Darnold. I thought the Giants should have took Sam Darnold, over Saquon. And I'll still stay with that. They should have took a quarterback over Saquon, and I love Saquon. But the last 2 years they haven't done nothing to help him. They got him Le'Veon Bell just simply because they had money. It wasn't a good fit at all. So they haven't shown that they have. They waited to year 3 to get him offensive lineman. And
but this is a team.
We don't know about Beckham, but we don't know if Mekhi Becton's even going to be, that dude. We're projecting that he could be good because he's freaking 6'10". He's a power forward playing left tackle, but we don't know if he's going to be Jonathan Ogden. He could be freaking a bust, as all we know. But they haven't. That's the investment in giving him weapons and with the line. They waited till now. It's already year 3. We're coming up on. He's going to be his contract year is going to be up after next season. He's going to want a deal. So why haven't they invested? And that's my issue with the Jets is that they haven't put the investment in getting in weapons like every other team who has a quarterback. You see all these teams, these young up and coming quarterbacks getting weapons, and Darnold's not getting those guys, and they waited till this year to get some offensive linemen. And that's my issue with the Jets is that I don't feel like they're putting their best foot forward to help Darnold take that next step. I think he's talented. I think he's super talented. I think he could be a tremendous quarterback, but I just haven't seen them put the effort to help him get there. Give him all the weapons, and if he fails, that's on him. Like if Drew Lock fails, that's on him. He's got all the weapons. He's got, tremendous receivers. I know they're young, but he's got tremendous receivers. He's got Noah Fant, he got tight end. So if he fails, most likely it's because of him. I'd rather give you all the weapons and be like, okay, you have no excuses. I got you weapons. Let's go. The Darnold.
But they did that.
gonna kill
They
him.
did that with Baker. They did that with Baker Mayfield, but he had all the weapons, but no protection.
Exactly. Then we saw,
and
but that's how you see if he's truly your franchise guy. Like you gave him all, you got him Odell Beckham, and he could not capitalize. So this is a big year for him.
I think so.
That's how you want to take your chance on your long-term investment. Is I give you all the weapons, but if you're not protected, then your weapons is irrelevant. Baker was running like a mad dog. You know what I'm saying? Baker was running like a black guy in the hood when he see a pit bull jump over that fence.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying?
When you get film on him, because they didn't have film on him his rookie year, you get film on him and you know how to attack him. That's what also hurt him too, is that he got a little exposed. He got exposed a little bit,
and he also didn't have a competent coach. Go ahead, Rob.
Thank
go
you.
ahead, Rob.
I was just about to say same thing. You gotta take into account. He had Freddie Kitchens as his head coach.
Should never.
That was a bad hire. That was an awful hire. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a
awful hire.
Possibly for the Browns, and this is saying something for the Browns. It was probably the worst head coaching hire they've ever had.
Stefanski last year.
Yeah,
exactly.
Last year, that team would be so much different. They probably would have been maybe a playoff team because Stefanski's legit. I think he's going to do good with them.
But that goes to my point of I understand maybe,
and I don't believe in Gase. That's why I'm so down on Jets because I don't think Gase is the guy. I just don't think he's a good coach.
And maybe he's not. And year 3 is going to tell a lot of whether he is or not. Because if Sam Darnold, like I said, I'm constantly beating on Sam Darnold taking that jump. If Sam Darnold takes that jump, they pay Jamal Adams, and they don't take that next step, then I'm going to blame it on the coach. Because if, let's say Sam Darnold has a Dak Prescott type of year and throws for 4,900 yards, 30-plus touchdowns, he did what he was supposed to do as the quarterback. The offense did what they were supposed to do as an offense. If the defense don't hold their own or the system doesn't hold its own as itself, now we sit here and say it's because of Adam Gase. That's when we blame Adam Gase. This is the year where we're able to blame Adam Gase because the division is wide open. The Patriots lost Tom Brady. That automatically made the division wide open. The Bills improved off of being a solid team last year. I ain't going to say great, but a very good, solid team last year. The Bills improved. To me, the Jets improved the minute they picked their first-round pick and drafted Mekhi back then. I think the Jets improved. The Dolphins improved in free agency.
The Dolphins might be the most improved team in the league, man.
Yeah. They had some questions to me in the draft. Like, I think with the draft picks that they had, they could have did a little bit better. But they have a plan. We're on the outside looking in. And they might have a plan. You know, with their last pick in the first round, I was surprised they went through the first round and didn't take a running back. I'm really surprised they went through the first round, didn't get Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins, Edwards-Helaire, whoever. I almost guaranteed, you know what I'm saying? I almost thought they was going to take a running back regardless.
Yeah.
Even if it was late in the first round, they would have took whatever running back was available. There was 4, and we thought either 3, all 4 of them would be available late in the first round, early second round. So I thought they would have took Swift or Edwards-Helaire, Dobbins, you know what I'm saying, Jonathan Taylor. So that surprised me. And with them taking corner, a lot of that had me saying, I think they might move Byron Jones to safety, which is what he was drafted as, which is what he probably would have been the most successful as in Dallas, even though he's the highest paid corner because of what he did in Dallas. I think he would have been more successful as a safety. And maybe if Byron Jones would have played safety in Dallas, we'd have him in that conversation with your Jamal Adams and your Earl Thomas, but he moved positions. So I think they might move Byron Jones back to what he came in the league as and what he's comfortable as. And that's why they got that corner out of Auburn, is because they got Xavier Howard to lock down one side. They can work the rookie corner on the other side. You put Byron Jones over at safety. Now you're talking about arguably one of the deepest secondaries in the league. So Miami very well improved. And if that is their plan, then they have a master plan, and I can't say nothing about their draft. But I do think the AFC East is wide open, and that's why I'm making a case for the Jets, is because the same way we can argue for the Bills and for the Patriots now that they got Cam Newton, which was the start of this argument, is the Patriots got Cam Newton, and also the Dolphins and their very well improvement, is we got to look at individual improvements from players. And if Sam Darnold make that jump, and other players in that system make that jump, and Adam Gase makes that jump as a head coach, the Jets are in that same conversation with the Patriots, with the Dolphins, and with the Bills, because the questions we have, the Bills are kind of in their own to me. I don't think we have questions on the Bills. I think they improved. They got Stephon Diggs. I think they'll be fine. But the question is Cam Newton going to be the right quarterback for the system with the Patriots? If so, they're going to be back to dominating the same way they did. Are the Dolphins, all that talent they got in the draft and free agency, are they going to be able to make an impact this year? If so, they're in there. If Sam Darnold makes that jump and Adam Gase shows he's a worthy head coach, so do the Jets. So now you have the AFC East, all potential 10-6, 11-5 teams. Now you're arguing about a team might finish 9-7 solely because they couldn't make it through that gulag of a division. That has the potential of being a gulag of a division.
Oh
So
yeah,
we just have to see.
yeah. Do you think that's the one division where you can't? It's hard to really decipher who's the best in that division. Is that I know the NFC East is kind of similar too, where you could see any one of those teams win
but the NFC East, you're trying to figure out who's the worst.
Yeah, honestly.
Let's just be real. You got to figure out what team is going to finish 9-7 and make the division or make the playoffs.
Yeah. And Rob, you 100%. And the thing, I look at the AFC East now with Cam Newton added to that Patriot squad. I look at the AFC East a step behind the AFC West, which is like you have the Chiefs, who are going to obviously be dominant, probably 12-4, 13-3, even 14-2 on a great season. But you have the Raiders, you have the Broncos, you have the Chargers, who are potential 10-6 squads. What they did in the draft, what they did in free agency, if certain guys take that next step, that AFC West has a chance of being a very dangerous division. And I think the AFC East has that same potential. Now that we talking Cam Newton to the Patriots, all of us probably would have got on talk AFC East before Cam signed a couple hours ago, and we would have said the Patriots are going to be the worst team in the division. If not, they're going to be the second worst. They're going to go 7-9, 8-8 if they have a great season for what they lost.
I said.
Now that they have Cam, they're going to be very confident.
Because, like you said, I didn't give a damn about the AFC. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, with Brady gone, it's like, who cares? Like, you only talk. You're like, all right, it's Brady and the Patriots, and that's it. Now and then he leaves. You're like, Bills. Okay, cool. That's whatever. And then you go on to the next thing. So that's going to be, now that Cam's there, I think that's going to be the most intriguing thing, is to see his progress and see if he's back and he's back to playing at a high level, because we know when he's playing at a high level, his team's. He gets this team to the playoffs, and once you get in, you never know what happens. So
it's all for grabs.
It's all for grabs. So the AFC East definitely got a lot more interesting now, and it's I know a lot of people are going with the Bills because it seems like they're the sexy pick right now, but Belichick, you can never count out Belichick, man. It seems like he always got something up his sleeve. So so you think. You think Cam, he's gonna, beat out Stidham? Because I know the Patriots do like Stidham, and he did struggle at times when he did. I remember there was a game, I forgot who they played. He played, and then he threw some picks, and then they like, no, you came back, grab some bets. They put Brady back in, so that was funny. But do you think this is Cam's to lose? Like he's QB1 week 1, no doubt. Stidham is gonna wait. How do you think the Patriots are taking this season? Do you think they're gonna be also in it to win it, to get to the playoffs now, or are they just just seeing if Cam has anything and just taking it there and looking at quarterbacks for next season? Because the quarterback crop next year is pretty good.
Yeah. They have spent the last 20 years, literally the last 20 years, being the top of the NFL. Super Bowl, not only contenders, but Super Bowl participants for damn near half the last 2 decades.
Pretty much, right? It's crazy.
So you don't go from 9 Super Bowl appearances to being okay with third best in your division and signing a name like Cam Newton just to be a backup. Of course. You're not going to do that. But I do got 2 questions for you. Since, Mo, you were talking about the offensive line and all that, I've heard talks that they're looking at asking for La'el Collins from the Cowboys for Jamal Adams. So I mean, right? They went and got they went and got homeboy in the draft, the offensive lineman, adding La'el Collins to that. I mean,
that's a good move for the Jets.
It would be.
To be honest, in a sense like that, Rob, just to answer your question, because I know you have multiple points, so I just want to answer that question because I love talking Cowboys. If we made that trade, I would feel semi-comfortable about it. I'd be like, okay, we improved on the defensive side, but the only thing is hopefully we didn't take a step back on the offensive line side. Now, granted, we went and got a center to replace Travis Frederick. We got a guy who won the center the best center in college football, and a
It's
steal in the
Michigan,
fourth
right?
round.
Did you
Yeah,
get
and a steal in the fourth round from Wisconsin, and we know what Wisconsin
Wisconsin?
does
Yeah.
to offensive linemen. So I love that. But will Lyle Collins have us take a step back at O-line? Because honestly, as much as I want Jamal Adams, I don't want to take a step back on our O-line because Dak Prescott is an investment. He's our franchise tag, and I think it solely has to do with Mike McCarthy seeing if that's his guy. We have Ezekiel Elliott, which we invested a lot of money in, and if they're not able to block for Zeke, then what was the point in getting a guy that's great on the defensive side of the ball if we can't protect our offensive investments, which is Dak on a franchise tag year looking for a big payday. Zeke, who already got his big payday. Amari Cooper, who got his big payday with 5 years, $100 million. So if it's going to make us take a step back on the offensive side, then I'm not okay with it. But honestly, if we traded Lyle Collins for Jamal Adams, I will be okay with the trade. I probably will love it, honestly, just seeing a big name like Jamal Adams on that defensive side of the ball, being over guys like Chidobe Awuzie, Jordan Lewis, our new rookie, and Trayvon Diggs. Having that guy over the top that can protect some mistakes that they're going to make being young corners, I'll probably love it. But offensive line suffers because of that trade, then it doesn't become a good trade because all your investments are on the offensive side of the ball. Yeah, we got Jalen Smith, and we're looking at investing in Van Der Esch, but if you can't protect your offensive side of the ball investments, which is we paid Lyle Collins, but because he was a great offensive lineman for us, but you pay Zeke, you want to pay Dak, you're looking at a reason not to pay Dak, and Amari Cooper. If we can't make nothing shake on that offensive side of the ball with all the weapons we have, then kind of what you do on defense almost doesn't matter. Yeah, that means you're in a lot of 13 to 10, 17 to 14 games. And honestly, that's not what I expect from the Cowboys. So that's not what I want to see.
Right, but so the way I look at it is to answer your question: do you take a step back? You do take a bit of a step back on that offensive line, but the step forward you take on defense is much bigger than the step back you're taking on the offensive line. And like you just said, you're in a lot of 13, 14-point games, and that cannot go out and score 30 points on a regular basis. So maybe he needs someone like Jamal Adams, who, like we discussed on a previous episode, somebody who can get line up in the box and stop the run and keep those low scoring games. So Dak doesn't have to go out and throw 400, 500 yards, 4 touchdowns every single game. Next question I have for you guys, though. I saw this rolling down Twitter just a minute ago. Who has a better season, Pats or Bucks?
Pats or Bucks? Jelani, you go first.
Yeah, Jelani, I want to hear from you, bro.
I mean, I'm a Falcons fan, so you know who I'm hoping has a little bit better of a season. Honestly, it's a toss-up because obviously I'm not a Patriots fan either because 28-3. But
oh my god, Jelani's still hurt. He's still hurt.
Yeah, I'm a little hurt. Can't even get into that. Catch, run, field goal. That's what should happen. But anyway, I would hope.
I was watching. I'm like, I still can't believe they lost that game.
I've watched no replays. I've watched no replays. But who I think has a better season, it's really tough. I think just based off history, I've been thinking Belichick is, I think it's really been 50-50, but I've been thinking it's a little bit more than Brady because it's just the system and the rest of their rest of their coaching staff as well. Josh McDaniels, and even coaching coach for the Lions that left. Pretty much, I think it's just a whole system that's been predicated on why they've been winning. So I honestly think like both are going to have great seasons. I think they're both probably going to make the playoffs. Who I hope has a better season, of course, I think the Patriots. And I like we said, really just based off, I guess, no research. Just thinking like who I know is like, still sitting on the Patriots. If everyone's healthy, if Cam come back, and we were talking about, Cam's healthy, and even his receiving core is healthy because they had problems, there too. And everybody else on the offensive line is healthy. Their defense is always pretty stout. I know they lost a lot of big names, but I think they picked up some pretty good guys in the draft. And one, linebacker out of Michigan, then another end. But I think, to me, honestly, it's a toss-up. I'll probably leave it more to you guys because for me, with the Bucks, I think they're really just obviously they're banking on Brady being Brady, and if Brady's not Brady, that's when things kind of go downhill. Like they got a bunch of receivers, they got a bunch of weapons that you can't argue with on both sides of the ball. Honestly, their defense is pretty stout. With the front seven, and like I said, offensively, they got the weapons there. So if Brady is Brady, then I think I think the Bucks have a better season. I would want the Patriots to have a better season, of course. Just being the division, but
That's tough, bro.
yeah, it's too tough. I think if Brady's Brady, then the Bucks would definitely have a better season. Especially like I said, of course, the division they're in is, I guess, a little bit less of a toss up. Honestly, my Falcons got a lot of work to do on the defensive end, so I think we're probably middle of the road again. The Panthers are figuring out a lot of things. They got a lot of moving pieces, new pieces, both sides of the ball, coaching, and I mean the Saints, if they can fix their locker room, which I think they'll be fine, based off everything Drew Brees said. I think they'll try to put things to the side and make it work, because I think this is their last year. This is his last year. They don't make it to the Super Bowl. They don't make it to the Super Bowl this year. They're done.
Their window's closing. Sure.
Exactly. If they don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, they're done with it. So
they can just avoid the Vikings. They'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. If they can avoid the Vikings, they'll be fine. But I think Pats like.
Yeah, they beat them out there. Yeah,
Bucks have a better season than Brady's Brady. I personally don't think Brady's gonna fully be Brady, but I think he'll be good enough to get them to a playoff spot.
Chris, you about to go? Or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Patriots have even without Brady, they still have an easier path because
exactly.
The Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins are still obviously the Bills are probably they really improved and they made the playoffs last year, but we still got to see Allen take that next step and see where they go. And Dolphins are rebuilding and the Jets are the Jets, so. No, but that the NFC South is tough, man. I mean, you got your Falcons and you got the Bucks and the Panthers and the Saints. I mean, that's a tough division. So I love Brady. Love Tom Brady, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make the playoffs simply because the division's tough. It's tough. That's a tough division, bro. The Saints are good. I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons come out and be solid. I still like their offense. I know the defense is strong, but they still got Matt Ryan, who's a former MVP, and obviously Carolina's rebuilding, but they still got McCaffrey, who's still one of the best players in football. So I wouldn't be surprised if they miss it, but if I had to go, I would still think that the Tampa Bay, simply because Tom Brady has the weapons, and yes, he's lost. He's not the same Tom Brady. He's not an MVP Tom Brady, but he has weapons that can make up for a lot of his, a lot of stuff he can't do anymore. He's got he's got power forwards at wide receiver. Godwin and
everybody.
His tight ends are all big. Those 6'5". OJ Howard. He got Gronk back.
Yeah.
He's got weapons that will just make up for any deficiency he has. With being an older quarterback. He's gonna make up with he could throw it in anywhere. The catch radius, he didn't have that in New England. If he threw it an inch above weight, from Edelman, he wasn't able to get it because they just limited. A lot of those guys are limited. So but with these guys, man, you could throw it a foot above Evans and Godwin's head. They're getting it. So that's gonna help them a lot. The offensive line's improved and their defense is low key solid. They got Shaq Barrett, JPP. They got pass rushers. They got some good linebackers. They, as long as you got a pass rush, they have a solid pass rush, that can help. So if I had to go, I'll go Tampa Bay. Having a better season than the Wing. But I wouldn't be surprised in the New England freaking somehow Belichick gets them 12-4, 1 seed, and they somehow get to the AFC Championship because Belichick, somehow just always pulls it off. But which would be impressive. If he makes the playoffs without Brady, his legacy just goes up. So it's but I'll go Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it short. I know Rob gonna want to touch on this because it was his question. I'm gonna rock with the Bucks. I think the Bucks are gonna have a better season, and I think it's because Bruce Arians is a good coach. He may not be the GOAT or anything like that, and we know we oftentimes refer to Bill Belichick as the GOAT. And he is. In my eyes, he's the greatest coach of all time. But Bruce Arians is a very good coach and a competent enough coach that they didn't bring Tom Brady in for no reason. And so for that reason is why I say the Bucs will be better. They have more weapons. You're asking Cam Newton to do a lot coming back healthy with a lot less weapons. From, their running backs might be a little bit stronger with the checkdowns, but with having Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, which I pretty much figured Rob Gronkowski was coming out of retirement. As long as Brady didn't stay with the Patriots, I felt like he was following Brady wherever he went as long as he left the Patriots. And then you have OJ Howard.
Yeah.
And then you have the other tight end. So Cameron
Brake.
Brake.
They got Brake.
So
Cameron Brake.
I
think they're going to trade one of them. They're definitely going to trade one of them, but for now, they still have all three.
And I definitely think so. But, I just want to mention what they have right now. And I think Tom Brady is going to be very competent, even though he's 42 years old. And I understand his arm might have depleted. But just imagine, even if he's still running short routes, you talking about short jump balls to Mike Evans, who's going to get every one of them. He's out jumping every linebacker, every corner, every safety in the league. You know what I'm saying? He's a big body at that. It's not like we're asking a small guy with crazy hops to go get the ball. He's a big body. We talking about Chris Godwin, who took that jump in his next year. And Chris Godwin is arguably, a top 10 wide receiver in the league. And he's very sought after when we talk fantasy football. So Chris Godwin gonna get his touches. Tom Brady loves his tight ends, and this is the first time Tom Brady gonna have 3 different tight ends to show the love to. Mm-hmm. And then I like the draft pick of Vaughn from Vanderbilt as a running back because he's a pass catching back, and that's what Tom Brady needs around him. He has Ronald Jones to run the ball, but he also has Keyshawn Vaughn as a solid pass catching back. So I'm gonna go.
And he loved that. You saw that with James White. He loved James White.
Yeah, and that's what I think Vaughn could take the role as. So I'm gonna go with the Bucs. Rob, I want to hear who you rocking with because it was your question.
I honestly, it's just gonna come down to how healthy Cam Newton is. If Cam Newton is close to 100% and Bill Belichick can keep him there, I think the Patriots and Cam Newton will have a better season. Because to your point about the weapons and blah, 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 all that. I get it. Brady has the weapons. He has the weapons. You look at 2015, MVP Cam, who his receivers were. Philly Brown, Ted Ginn, Jericho Crabtree, who I think at the time was like 87 years old. His best pass catcher was Greg Olsen that year. So he can do it without the weapons. He just has to be put in the right system. And if Harbaugh is smart enough to develop an entire system around Lamar Jackson after the 3rd week of the season, after having Joe Flacco for, I think, 5-6 years, Bill Belichick can definitely, between now and September, put together an entire system to revolve around Cam Newton and really show his abilities and maximize his potential.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Cam looks because I'm rooting for him, because he's one of the best. He's one of the best to do it. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the last 10 years. So rooting for him big time. So before we get into basketball talk, so I just thought about this. We all have root for different football teams. I just want to talk about each one of our teams before we dive into some basketball, and just give me what gets you excited about your team this year, and then what worries you about your team this year. So, Jelani, you're a Falcons fan. You go first.
Yeah, mine's pretty easy. Obviously, excitement, offense, Gurley coming back to the A, healthy knee. Well, from what I've seen in his workouts and post, healthy knee. We, like I said, just pretty much what we've been predicated on. We have an offense. If this offensive line, they invested with 2 draft picks last year. They're coming back on their 2nd year. Chris Lindstrom was hurt most of the year, but he played pretty well when he was in there. As long as the offensive line is healthy, we're able to protect Matt. Offensively, I'm excited about it. I really have no questions with that. All my concern comes with on defense. We're young in the secondary. We're fragile in the secondary. Hopefully, Keanu Neal is able to stay healthy. He had 2 season-ending injuries, one with knee, one with Achilles, back-to-back years. What you call it, corner wise, we have a second year and a first year. And Isaiah Oliver, who I'm not really high on at all, never was when we drafted him. And Kendall Sheffield, I don't know if they're going to keep him in the slot or if they're going to try to move him outside. And then also with our draft pick that we got this year, Terrell, what you call it? I forgot his last name, but
Clemson,
Terrell.
right?
Yeah, Clemson. Yeah. AJ Terrell, sorry, that's his last name, AJ Terrell. So I wasn't high on that. I was hoping we actually got most teams pick up. I was more high on Trey Diggs, honestly, as a corner, size wise, and it just fit our scheme more. AJ Terrell is more of a press corner, and we play a lot of what you call cover three. So, and cover three is what AJ Terrell is pretty bad at. So, I don't know. Really, like I said, all the concern is on the defensive end. We lost like I said, we lost a lot in the secondary, not signing Trufant back. So we don't really have no experience there. I don't know if they're going to have enough money to sign any, corners to, help with that young secondary. I guess they'll probably just be banking on the safeties. And then we really need like another backup linebacker. We're pretty thin and young there as well. Deion Jones leading the way. Like I said, if we're able to shore up somehow, get a veteran in one of those two spots, I still see us kind of lacking a little bit in the division, but our division is so always up and down. We'll probably split games with pretty much everybody besides hopefully Carolina, and then try to fight for a playoff spot, but more than likely probably just middle of the road again. So
you look so hurt like that.
I am.
So hurt. He's still thinking about 28-3, man. He's like, damn, man, we lost Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was the chance. That was it, and I was. But the thing is, like, it's funny. I knew we were gonna lose the game, and I forgot what it was. I always talk about it. It was just one specific. It wasn't any of those. It wasn't the Elderman catch off the foot. It wasn't anything down the stretch when they what you call it, got sacked. Matt Ryan got sacked. It was just a random play. Like Tom Brady did something. I think we were supposed to catch an interception. It was just a random play. It was still 28-3, and we were still up. It was like almost the end of the third quarter, and I was like, we're gonna lose the game. Like, I turned to my stepdad, I said, we're finna lose this game. And he thought I was, crazy, but I was like, we're gonna end up losing. So I haven't watched the replay since. I don't think we'll make it back to the Super Bowl in a while until we do right by Mike Vick. Like, we got to do right by Michael Vick, and then we maybe will find a way to get back to postseason or, Super Bowl.
Man, yeah, I mean that loss. Damn.
Yeah.
And you know what? I have, before I get into, we talk about other teams, but the way Shanahan played that, he played as if he was.
I don't know what was up with him. I don't know.
Like, you up 28-3, your best friend is the clock. You just run the ball, even if you don't run any yards, bro. You make sure 12 doesn't get any chance.
Exactly.
To come back.
Like, you just ruined the whole Super Bowl moment. Julio Jones tote. That probably would have been what, top 3 catches ever in a Super Bowl.
Remember that catch, but that catch is one of the best catches in Super Bowl history.
Exactly.
But people forget about it because the collapse.
I don't know. I think he just got a big head. So I'm glad when he went to San Francisco.
This year too in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Yeah, I'm glad he lost this year, and I'm glad we beat them in San Francisco as well. So.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, Rob. What about your Redskins?
So what gets me excited? It probably would have to be the defense more than anything. I wanted to say Dwayne Haskins, but definitely that defense. Getting Jack Del Rio, getting Ron Rivera as a head coach, Del Rio as a defensive coordinator, switching from a 3-4 to a 4-3, letting Ryan Kerrigan lose, getting Chase Young on the other edge. You got Chase Young on one side, Montez Sweat on the other.
My boy Montez.
Kerrigan and Ryan Kerrigan and Ryan Anderson. With still John Bossett, you got Jonathan Allen and Matt Ioannidis in the middle. Like, that front seven,
it's gonna be a problem.
That front seven is gonna cover up our terrible secondary right now, because right now our secondary is Kendall Fuller and Landon Collins. That's it. That's our entire secondary. It's gonna help. It's gonna make them look better than they actually are. But what worries me probably have to be Dwayne Haskins. And I don't want to say he worries me, because I'm very confident in him. He's been putting in the work, and I know it's just YouTube videos or Twitter posts. But when you've been criticized, your short career for your work ethic, saying that you have a terrible work ethic and you don't really want it, you're just happy to be here. to show that he was able to go from about 230 down to almost 215. You know, it shows that he's willing to put in that work. He wants to learn. He wants to be the franchise quarterback. So I would say it's not so much a worry as much as it is a question mark right now.
Yeah, I mean, if he takes that next level, man. It's like you said, that defense.
Yeah,
Ooh, that defense.
That
defense has potential to be one of the best defense in the league in the next couple of years. You guys have a potential with Montez Sweat and Chase Young, and you still got Kerrigan, who's always at least going to get you 8 sacks a year. He's just steady. He's just as consistent can be. You know, he's just a tremendous football player. And with Allen, man, you guys have potential to have the best defense in a few years. So, but if Haskins takes that next level, man, you guys
we're gonna be unstoppable. If we can add Antonio Brown to the receiving corps,
I just need another receiver. Y'all need Darius Geis to be healthy too.
Want that.
He just needs to stay healthy.
Yeah, y'all need Darius to stay healthy.
Damn, y'all getting me excited about the rest. Damn, I mean, now I gotta hear about the Cowboys, so you know, I don't know what's worse, but yeah, we'll talk about your Cowboys, bro.
I can tell you what's worse.
Make it quick. I don't want to hear too much.
I ain't gonna go too deep. You know, every time we link, I talk Cowboys, but what make me most excited is honestly the hire of Mike McCarthy, bro. Having him, I think an upgrade on the offensive end as far as coaching goes than Jason Garrett. I think Jason Garrett was more of a defensive coach, and towards the last couple of years, all the talent he ended up having on defense even collapsed on that. So I love the upgrade we're going to have on the offensive side of the ball with Mike McCarthy. I think he's going to make Dak a better quarterback. I don't want to go as far as to say top 5 or anything, but a very good quarterback, maybe not elite, but I think Mike McCarthy will keep him at very good quarterback status. I don't know about worth $40 million. You know, to me, that's Patrick Mahomes and Patrick Mahomes' only territory. Maybe Russell Wilson, you know, even though he just got paid. But, like, I think that's only, like, 2, maybe 3 quarterbacks territory at that $40 million. But I like Mike McCarthy. That's the biggest upside of the hire and the draft of CeeDee Lamb. I think having CeeDee Lamb is a big deal. You have CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. I think that's arguably a top 5 receiving core. I'm not going to say the best because there's a lot of good ones. But I think arguably a top 5 receiving core. What I'm worried about the most is our defense. If our defense was already bad last year, we took a step back, letting Byron Jones go. I like that we drafted Trayvon Diggs, but even still, you don't expect a rookie to replace a veteran corner no matter what. You don't expect Trayvon Diggs to have the same impact that Byron Jones had. I like that Anthony Brown is coming back from injury. So I do think that makes a difference. We have Jordan Lewis. We have Chidobe Awuzie. We drafted drafted Trayvon Diggs. So I do like that addition. I like the addition we got at defensive end. I forgot his name, but the guy from Utah. I feel like we got a lot of steals in the draft. So our draft and Mike McCarthy, to me, is our biggest upside. Our defense is our biggest downside as far as what has me worried about this year is I don't want to be that team that can put up 30 points but gets 35 points put up on them. So that's my biggest thing with Dallas. Yeah, but that's my biggest thing with Dallas is that I think we have the potential to put up a shit ton of points, 35, 40 points, not a game. You know, I think in that 28 to 31 points a game. But I also think we have that potential to give up 31 to 35 points a game. So that's the biggest thing that scares me with Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you going to give up that many points, but talking about the Giants, I mean, my biggest fear, I'm going to start with my fear because this scares the shit out of me, is the defense. Defense is bad, man. My defense, you talk about your defense is still way better than the Giants. Giants defense is still, you know, I know they upgraded, you know, we got McKinney in the draft from Alabama. You know, that's a solid pick. I like that, but we got no pass rush. We got no pass rush, man. And you have no pass rush, you ain't going nowhere. We're going to be in shootouts. And unless, like you said, we always talk about the quarterbacks if they could take the next step. If Daniel Jones takes the next step, you know, that's great. But if your defense is giving up 40 points a game, it don't matter how much Daniel Jones, you know, takes that next step or how much he progresses, because you're going to be in shootouts all day. And that's not, you can't win this league and be in the shootouts week in and week out. It's just not sustainable. So, you know, when we go against the Redskins, you know, we're going to be in some trouble that pass rush is, it's, you know, and that can affect the game, like guys like that. And then we have to just constantly fight from back because our defense is going to be giving up points. You know, that's what worries me is the defense is just, it's not good. The pass rush is not. The linebacker, you know, I know they got Blake Martinez, but I wasn't crazy about getting Blake Martinez because he still doesn't really upgrade our line. I mean, he's better than whatever we had, just simply because we don't have anyone. So getting him is an upgrade simply because he's better than anyone we have. But that's not saying much because he's okay. But our corner situation, we have like 37 corners and none of the. I mean, we got the guy from the Panthers. I can't remember his name, but you know, the vet from Carolina. But you know, we draft corners like we draft like 3 every year, and you know, one got shot this year, another one got robbed. You know, robbing people.
Robbing.
I mean, I'm like, what are our corners doing? Like, what's going on? But you know, but that worries me a lot. You know, and then you know, if we go down quick, you know, 14-0, are we going to be able to you know, we got to force things, and that's just going to be an issue, you know. And then our division alone, like I said, man, the Redskins got good pass rush. You know, Eagles still have a solid pass rush. The Cowboys still got a solid pass rush, and you know how that's going to affect the game. So, you know, that defense and all that, you know, those things worry me. You know, catching up for if we get down. But what excites me is seeing Daniel Jones' progression. You know, I liked what he did last year. I feel like, you know, he made some strides. He did make a lot of mistakes, but you expect that from rookie quarterbacks. They're going to make their share of mistakes. And, you know, seeing how he works with receivers. Slayton was a rookie 5th round guy out of Auburn, unknown. He wound up being a very solid, you know, looks like a steal. Might be the true replacement for Odell. You know, we didn't think we could find someone like Odell, and not saying he's Odell because he's not, but to find someone that could, you know, is solid, you know, that's good. And you know, seeing what Barkley does, seeing if Barkley, you know, injured season last year, still rushed for 1,000 yards, you know, somehow, and seeing his progression. So seeing Jones, seeing Barkley, seeing how the offensive line, you know, we took on Andrew Brown, in the first round out of Georgia, you know, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how that line works. So I'm interested to see how, you know, that goes. But you know, it's gonna still not crazy optimistic about the Giants shit. But those are the things for that, you know. But you know, I know you guys got not too much time, so but just quick before you guys go, how you feel about, you know, the NBA start of the season and you know, we know who's playing and stuff. So how you guys feel about that?
To be honest, Rob, I'm gonna go ahead, but to be honest, you know, with closing out talking basketball, I'm excited for the NBA to come back. This is possibly the first basketball, you know, this is the first sport to come back. I know baseball about to come back, but you know, I'm more of a basketball fan and football fan. I don't too much rock with baseball. I mean, whatever, I watch it, but I'm excited for the NBA to come back. I don't like the schedule because the Pelicans having the easiest schedule of all the teams returning, to me, sends the message that they are begging for Zion to be in the playoffs. Whether it's the play-in tournament or whatever, the NBA, I think, is relying too much on Zion. And it's understandable. Zion's a superstar. We're all going to watch Zion. We all want to see Zion. But I also think it's disrespectful to a guy like John Morant or some of these emerging superstars that we've had, like John Morant and Jason Tatum. There's other young guys worth watching that are going to put on shows other than Zion. But I get it. You know, this is a different circumstance that we've never been into. So yeah. I'm excited that basketball is going to come back. With that being said, if I was to get my prediction of who's going to win it, I'm going to rock with the Lakers and LeBron James. Shout out to my guy, Corey Harrison. Too bad he couldn't be on here right now to hear me say this. But I'm going to rock with LeBron James and the Lakers. I'm a big-time Heat fan. And I think the Heat have a standing chance, especially in a situation like this, to come back just because I think the Heat have depth and dog in them. And depth and dog enough to go ahead and go at Giannis and the Bucks and Jason Tatum and Kemba and the Celtics. I think they have enough to get them in the 7-game series, but it is going to be tough. And I just think I think what LeBron is saying and what he's showing is that he knows this season it's kind of ride or die with this season. And I think LeBron knows he needs to win the championship this year now more than ever because he's the only guy in the league shooting for Jordan's legacy. And to me, personally, I think LeBron is already there. Whether he passed it or not is for another day, another conversation. But I do think LeBron is up there in legacy. He's one of the 3 greatest players of all times, and I think that's unarguable. He put himself on the Mount Rushmore. So I think LeBron knows if he wins his 4th ring, 3rd with a ring with 3 different teams, I think he knows it's going to hold major weight. Even regardless of the circumstance, I think this ring is tougher to win than any other because he just lost Avery Bradley. So he lost an important piece to his team. So I think that takes away the fact of other teams that may end up come Wednesday losing other important factors. If the Clippers still have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, anything else is just collateral damage. If the Bucks have Giannis and Chris Middleton, anything else is collateral damage. As long as the Rockets have Harden and Westbrook, all these teams have duos. So as long as LeBron and Anthony Davis are playing, I think they have a fighting chance. I think LeBron's going to activate playoff mode, and I think LeBron's going to do his thing. I think he's going to bring that championship home. The death of Kobe Bryant, I think, holds a lot of weight for him to bring a championship to LA. So I think LeBron will bring the championship to LA. I hope he does for his legacy and everything like that. So that's my take on basketball. I'm glad it's coming back. I'm glad the NBA is willing to be able to put statements on the back of their jerseys. Hopefully they decide to put the names of these people that have suffered from police brutality and ultimately ended up in their deaths. Hopefully they do put on Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, and all these things on the back of their jersey. I think the NBA is doing the comeback the right way, and ultimately I do think the Lakers are going to win the championship.
Yeah, I mean, man, and the Lakers, I think they're the favorites right now, for sure. Jelani?
Yeah, pretty much with Mo. I think they're the favorites as well. I'm a LeBron guy. I guess to go back to his point with Zion, of course, we all know it's basically just about the money. Obviously, Zion's bringing in more ratings than, unfortunately, John Morant. Even the type of season he's having. So yeah, set up the schedule. I think I don't like the way they're doing that, of course, and I don't like how they're because they're trying to slight Ja for that. But it's just simple fact. Zion's bringing in ratings. Zion LeBron matchup. That's they're already missing out on so much money. They had to do something, but they could have hit it. They could have hit it a little better.
LeBron versus Zion round 1.
Exactly. And then the rest of the West, that's all honestly championships in itself. So I don't like the way they they didn't really try to hide it. They're trying to get that LeBron Zion matchup, but that's whatever. I think, like I said, it's a good thing. I like how they're bringing it back as well. I hope they're able to do more than just, the statements on the back of the jersey and everything. I do think they do need to continue to still keep, everything that's going on, the social injustice and social change going on in the world. Still try to keep that in the forefront of everybody's mind, while, of course, everyone's still being able to enjoy, the game of basketball and the season as well. And prediction-wise, like I said, I'm rocking with the Lakers. I think Giannis, I don't see anybody stopping the Bucks coming out of the East. Honestly, there's a lot of good teams in the East, a lot of good young teams. Heat were definitely a surprise this year. I do like their team. I like how they playing. I like Jimmy Butler to that group. Gives them an edge, but ultimately, I don't see anybody beating Giannis and the Bucks. They just got too many players, too many shooters. So I'm looking at that matchup: Lakers, Giannis. Given the circumstances, they don't have to go anywhere. There's no travel. Their body should be healthy and ready for the, what they're about to go through because they're all in one central location. They've had months, to be off. LeBron's going to activate playoff mode early because, like I said, he's just been able to rest up and keep his body right. So it's gonna be fun to see just overall. I'm definitely looking forward to all the matchups. But I definitely see the Lakers coming out with the win. This one just means more to the city and means more to LeBron and his legacy.
Rob?
I agree. The championship that LA is about to get is going to be huge for the city. Except the only thing is it's not going to be the Lakers. It's going to be the Clippers. They still got Paul George. They still got the best defender in the league. I don't know why y'all just kind of pushing them to the side. Like, anyways, that's even if the NBA comes back. I honestly don't think they're going to come back. I don't think they end up coming back.
I mean,
because you look at Florida.
man. I was gonna get into that next. Like, what if the numbers are spiking in Florida, man? The spiking
Yep.
crazy. So, what if this stops? I think that the issue is if they start. What happens if you got a couple guys, big names, like let's just say Kawhi, LeBron, those guys, Giannis, they get tested positive. Are you gonna? And then they got to sit down for 2 weeks, quarantine for 2 weeks, and that's good. That's my biggest thing is what if that happens? What if more of even if it's 4 or 5 guys on the team get tested positive? That means you got to take everyone's got to just you can't the team just can't continue and play and get 5 more guys.
Right.
You got to just stop it. So what happens is that what if that happens? Because that can happen. It's not like it's like a far-fetched idea, like that's like the the last thing that could pop. No, this could possibly happen. So what if that happens? Do you just wait and then restart again? It's like, are we gonna keep going through this? You might have
no way.
So what if
this is it. This is it. If you either start it now and you continue through, and like you said, if Giannis and LeBron and Kawhi and guys of that nature test positive, you gotta cut the season. Are you gonna watch the Lakers? No LeBron. Are you gonna watch the Clippers? No Kawhi. Are you gonna watch the Bucks? No Giannis. No, nobody is gonna continue to watch them games. Are you gonna watch the Pelicans? No Zion. No, sir. We're gonna shut the TV off and we're just gonna be like, we may watch it because there's no sports right now. But ultimately, like, am I gonna be interested? It might be on my TV and they're gonna get them ratings, but am I gonna be interested in the Lakers with no LeBron? No, sir. Am I gonna be interested?
It doesn't feel right. It won't feel right. And
it won't be the same, and the weight of the championship won't be the same if big names get it. They've already tested. I assume they're quarantining right now. They're gonna work together as a team, and then they're gonna all pick up and travel into Orlando. I know they're gonna test before they work out for training camp. They're gonna test when they enter the bubble. I think if big names test going into the bubble, they'll let it ride. But if while in the bubble, you know what I'm saying? Because them 2 weeks might just be those 8 games. That's fine. We can let it shake out. We can let the Lakers drop to 4 or whatever happens. But if come playoff time, guys are still tested positive. Once they enter that bubble, if they test positive before the bubble, okay, we can remove them from the situation, bring them back in when they're clear. But once they enter that bubble, if guys are still tested positive a week into that bubble, they're going to have to cut it because at that time, the virus then reached the bubble and it's over at that point.
Exactly. Everything just so time limited. So it's like, it's like it almost got to go perfect. Like Mo saying, like I think
that's what they're trying to do is like hoping they're crossing their fingers and like let's just hope everything goes right.
Because one thing is thrown off the rails. Like everything's so time consuming, so everything can start next season. It can almost roll into it. Not, I guess in a sense missing a beat because it's supposed to be starting December and everything. So it's like if one thing happens, honestly, I don't even know really if it's big names. If it's multiple people that's just within the organization that's traveling and going to be there, they might just scrap it. Like it don't even have to be big name. So like if it don't go perfect, I think it definitely, like you said, has a big chance to just be done with, which is going to be unfortunate, but it's going to be what's going to have to happen.
Yeah, because that's the biggest problem with it being in a bubble and them all being. If one person gets it, that shit's gonna spread like wildfire. Because especially with the 2-week dormant period, that the virus is, you're asymptomatic, or you might even test negative while you still have it, but you're still testing negative. Mm-hmm. If you're playing a game that you guys are leaning on, you got 10 men basically leaning on each other for 48 minutes.
Yeah.
It's gonna spread, and that's gonna be the problem with it being in a bubble. Is pretty much everybody's gonna get it, and at that point they're gonna have to shut it down because right now Florida is at nearly 10,000 cases per day.
Ridiculous. That's crazy.
That's New York numbers. New York, we were at that, even worse than that. And and that's gonna be the big thing, yo. So it's gonna be interesting to see. But this was fun, fellas. I really appreciate you guys coming on. I'm gonna try to do these these live streams because it looked like we did pretty good numbers today. So I appreciate all you guys being on it. So before we sign off, just where can you find your podcast, your social media? Mo, you go first. I know you got to go. So
yes, sir. Hey, y'all can find my Up in Flames Sports podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. Just follow me on Twitter, Up in Flames Pod. Follow me on Instagram, Mo_Up in Flames. And yes, sir, just continue to follow me. I'm gonna constantly link with Chris. Rob and Jelani, we definitely gonna link now. So it's just adding one more guy to the group that I'll be able to talk sports with. So that's where you can find me at.
Yep. Jelani?
Again, yes, appreciate the invite. Love the conversation. Love like I said, this new group of guys I can talk sports with for sure. To find my pod, I'm on Twitter, pretty much Facebook. Got a Facebook page for it, just called What the Game Means to Me. On Twitter, WT or WTGMTM. It's just the first letter of every word of the podcast. So WTGMTM podcast. Yeah, so looking forward to everything. The only thing I will say, and I'm hoping, I wish I could have, I probably will. I'm probably gonna try to get you all guys on as a special guest to help me judge. But I think next week I have a NFL banter series where I grouped. I found 32 fans, pretty much representing their organizations, and it's gonna be divisional. Yeah, so I got an idea today. So at first I was just gonna do one episode, but now I'm gonna make it a bracket pretty much a banter series, divisional. I'll have pretty much do like this live stream, have people, vote who was the best, not best team, just overall just best banter, talk the most shit or whatever. Move them on to the bracket till I get like a one-on-one Super Bowl matchup. So guys, follow me, look forward to that. So should be pretty fun.
Yep. Rob?
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram, both Football and Chill podcast. Twitter's where I'm the most active, FNC pod. I got an episode, a pre-camp NFC episode, like I did with the AFC. Hopefully nobody signs any big names that I gotta just cancel that one too. But I definitely got that coming out. Definitely gonna be doing some live streams as well. Definitely need to get y'all on, especially with Corey and Jeff. We're gonna do some recaps of some old NFL and NCAA games.
Yes, sir.
Yep. And Off the Ball Podcast, y'all know where to find me. I'm Off the Ball Pod, Instagram, Twitter, Off the Ball Podcast on Facebook. I'm mad I messed up Andrew Thomas's name. I said Andrew Brown, so my bad. I don't want people coming at me. So Andrew Thomas, my fault. I said his name wrong. But like I said, Off the Ball Podcast on YouTube also. I'm on all podcast platforms, Off the Ball Podcast. Go get your merch. I got merchandise. Hit me up if you need that merch. But this was fun. I'm definitely going to do a lot more of these because this is something that it blew up today. I got a lot of interaction, so I'm really excited about this, and I'm looking forward to working with you fellas more. Interacting. We've been this podcast community has been real cool, and I never knew this existed, and it's cool to know that we can all link up and
definitely
talk sports and. Just give the people our perspective of what we see in sports and our teams and stuff. So this is really fun. On that note, guys, make sure please be safe. That's the number one. Be safe. Hope your families are safe. And
yes, sir.
Soon, guys. All right. So take care and be good, guys. Peace.
All right, y'all.
Have a good one. Appreciate it.